Hey everybody, welcome back to the Hard4Games channel. I'm your host Tony, and today we have even more previously undumped Super Famicom Satellaview content. Now we've talked about the Satellaview and its many wonderful games in the past, so I'm not going to go too in-depth today regarding its history, but I will put some links in the description below if you would like to learn more. But the basic gist is that the Satellaview was a service in Japan where Super Famicom owners could download games, e-magazines, previews, that sort of thing via timed broadcasts. The software would be stored in these memory packs until written over by a new broadcast that was downloaded. Now, big thanks to Lane32 for sending these over. Because of him, we have 2 new undumped e-magazines and a new version of a previously dumped game. The first piece of software we recovered is actually an e-magazine with some extraordinarily strange art within it. Not all of it is strange, but some of it certainly is. Now, I don't speak Japanese, but thanks to our Patreon supporter William, I do have the menus translated. This first menu here, number 1, it says Japan Shorts. Underneath it, it says a game side story. Number 2, we have Summary, Wonderful Gaming Friends. Number 3, Yuuki's Collection, Final Chapter. And number 4, Dog Corner, number 32. The Dog Corner number 32 is what houses the very bizarre art. Now, maybe someone in the audience can tell me a little bit about the design of the certificate here, because it's very familiar to me. All of my black belt certifications are actually done on a certificate that looks exactly like this. So I'm not sure if this is just sort of a common thing in Japan or what exactly the deal is. If you know, let me know in the comments below. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and get into some of that bizarre artwork that I mentioned. Nothing particularly crazy here, but the next one, we seemingly have some steam coming off of the Nintendo 64. It's a little bit bizarre. And then this one is totally off the wall. It's a monsterized version of the Nintendo 64 with either snot or toxic waste oozing out of its controller ports, a Japanese flag, traffic signs, bowling pins, wings. It is truly strange. The text on that page actually says, "I don't know what is what, I'm totally confused." Now, this next piece of software is also an e-magazine in the same series as the last one. This was, in fact, previously dumped, but I did want to showcase it just briefly here because it is so very similar and related. Now, as you'll see, the Satellaview kind of occupies a strange space in the Nintendo timeline. We think Satellaview and Super Famicom, but it was also around during the N64 era. So you're gonna see Super Famicom SNES stuff on it, but you're also gonna see previews for N64 games. For example, we have the Mario 64 model, and then a bunch of models laying down, and some strange face-melting Mario artwork as well. Here we have even more bizarre art where we're imagining Luigi in place of Mario in Bomb-On Battlefield, and imagining Luigi as the villain of Super Mario 64 replacing King Koopa Bowser with a very deformed Luigi spouting fire at Mario. It's very, very odd. This is all artwork that I had never seen before. Again, I don't know if it's fan-generated or if it was created by the staff at St. GIGA who did the broadcast. I don't really know, but it's very fascinating and interesting. Now, the next piece of undumped software is an addictive little platforming puzzle game. I don't really know how to describe it other than Frogger, but with more obstacles and penguins. You basically try to guide your penguins from ice raft to ice raft, trying to retain as many of them as possible, making sure they don't fall into the water, making sure they don't get picked off by enemy birds, and collect them all to the bottom of the screen. You have to keep in mind which way the different iceberg, ice raft things are moving. As you get into more difficult levels, there's wind that will push your character in different directions, the enemies will get more aggressive, and overall, it's just a fun little strategic game. I should note also that there are two versions of this game. There is an event version that was previously dumped, and then there is this version. There are differences in the data, but we don't know if that leads to any differences in gameplay. So gameplay-wise, graphically, all that stuff, this might be the same as the previous one. But the data is a little bit different, so it's still sort of to be determined what makes this particular version of the game unique. Now, I mentioned earlier that the Satellaview sort of occupies a strange space in the history of Nintendo because you think of it as 16-bit, but it's also previewing the N64. So here we have a broadcast that is specifically dedicated to Mario Kart 64. We have some information on the game, and then we have an introduction of a bunch of different players. I don't know if these people work for Nintendo or St. GIGA, or if they were involved in some sort of contest. I don't know. I would love for someone to translate this so I can actually have an idea of what the heck is happening here. But it is really cool. It shows pictures of them playing the game and getting really hyped up and involved, and it's just fun to see. So again, big thank you to Lane32 for sending these over for me to preserve and dump. If you would like to play this software for yourself, make sure to check out Forest of Illusion on Twitter. I'll go ahead and put a link in the description below. Aside from that, appreciate all of you watching, subscribing, liking the video, all that good stuff, and I hope to see you all next time.